Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind, feels so nice. We time, you, I know
Good morning, everybody. Happy day after Father's Day for you fathers out there. Happy Father's Day. I'll say it late because I didn't see it yesterday. I stayed off the internet. Well, no, I didn't. I stayed off of the YouTubes, you know, the YouTubes that Bernie Sanders like to remind you. Yeah, get on the YouTube and tell your story, right? Anyway, how's everyone doing after the weekend? It was interesting. We had this thing planned at our house, right? Because we had postponed our Christmas celebration that we normally have. So we decided to have it yesterday, Father's Day. And then also we decided, just our small family get together that we do for that. And we decided to do the little celebration for my daughter getting engaged too. So we kind of made it a multiple party, and Dad didn't get his own deal. But anyway, we still had a lot of fun cooked out. But it was like the only day the entire last 30 days or to the month that it rained. We had to take it indoors. It's, it was still fun. And my wife had decorated one room with all Christmas stuff, and decorated one room with Happy Father's Day, and one room decorated for my daughter's getting engaged. It was really cool. Great stuff. A lot of fun. Great fun, I got to tell you. But so I ended up, it was a good Father's Day. And my son's significant other's family was here too, and so me and Wade had a good time being fathers on Father's Day. Although I did do a lot of cooking myself. I did a lot of the cooking, and then I had to clean up later. But that's okay. It was still a good time. I hope you all had a good weekend too. And blessings to all the fathers out there, or those who we met. Remember, I made a post on Twitter. Thinking about my dad that I grew up with, my dad George, who my parents adopted me when I was 4 years old and brought me into their home and gave me every opportunity in life, and I couldn't be more proud to know that my dad was just a good guy. I mean, in the end, he was a good man and took me in. And then I thought also about my father-in-law Tom, who passed away a couple years ago. And he and I became great friends, and man, he was just a good guy to hang out with. And I was glad to be there for him as he was having his health problems, and all the way up until the end. And I'm proud to have known him. And then also my father, who I met in 2004, my natural father in when I got to meet him in Nigeria, John. And also he was a good dude too. And I'm very fortunate where I can say, and all three of them are gone now, and I miss them all very much. I'm fortunate to have known each of them, and they've had just various impacts on my life in the different eras of my life. The only thing that I regret is the three never got to meet each other. My father-in-law Tom did get to meet my mom, who I grew up with, and he's met my mother, my birth mother, but he never got to meet my father John, and my dad George never got to meet the other two. And I think they would have all hit it off pretty well, even though they had similar personalities, but they had different personalities. But I think they would have really enjoyed meeting each other. And I think now they're getting that opportunity now that they're all three gone. And whether you believe in that kind of stuff or not, I like to think that they're up there somewhere, either having a beer or hitting some golf balls or something. It's just something. It's funny. They all had three different, very interesting hobbies and things like that. So I don't know what that would look like, but hopefully they're looking up. They're up there smiling down on my family, and I really, really, really appreciate all three of them. So anyway, all right. Tell you what, let's get the show started after the intro. I'll see you in 1 minute. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight. And Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I am your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel on this lovely Monday, the 21st of June, 2021, 6/21/21. And I'm just very happy that y'all showed up today. It's nice to see you. Hope that you are, well, I hope you will enjoy the show. I try to make it that way every day when I do this show. Thank you for being here. Hit the like button at some point during the show if you like what we do. Share the stream out. That's the biggest thing you can do for me. And if you want to sponsor the show, you can figure that out with the information in the description down below. Many of you do that on a regular basis. It'll show up in the chat once in a while too. I'm glad you all are here. So, like I said, I didn't spend a whole lot of time on the internet this weekend. I was, but I did occasionally pop onto Twitter, right? And one thing that caught my eye was this very sad event that happened at the Pride Parade in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, right? And you know, and the reason I found out, so the hashtag Death Santis was trending, right? And because of something that happened down in Florida. So there was at this Pride Parade, there were two people that were hit by a truck, and one was killed. And you know, because it was at a Pride Parade, everyone began jumping to conclusions immediately. Okay, so and so here's the, well, here, hang on a second. First, I'm going to go into the hashtag first because well, this was annoying. Oops, that wrong page there. Oh, why isn't that working? Hang on. There we go. Okay. So here's the hashtag Death Santis on Twitter. And so right here, okay, this is from June 13th. I wanted the one from 20th. Okay, well they've cleaned this up finally on Twitter. Anyway, so they're complaining because Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed an anti-riot bill into law that, among other things, grants civil immunity to people who decide to drive their cars into protesters who are blocking a road. And so people are mad about this. And let's tell you what happened now. Two people hit by a truck, one killed at a Pride Parade in Wilton Manors. I'm going to skip that because this wasn't told at first. One man was killed and another injured when they were run over by a pickup truck as the Stonewall Pride Parade in Wilton Manors was just getting started Friday night. A white pickup truck was lined up with other floats when it accelerated and ran over two men standing by to take part in the parade around 7 p.m. on Wilton Drive near 16th Street, as Local 10 News reporter Christian De La Rosa witnessed. Police took the man who was driving the truck into custody and were questioning him. I'm going to skip these two details because this is I'm telling you the details that they were telling us then. Let's see. Now, witnesses said the driver could be heard telling people it was an accident, asking if the driver was being charged or if he might have been under the influence. Fort Lauderdale Police Department Allie Abramson would only say they were asking the driver as they continue that they were talking to the driver as they continue their investigation. The FBI was joining the investigation Saturday night. So the FBI is immediately joining an investigation into someone getting hit in a Pride Parade. What does that tell you? It tells you they suspect some ulterior motives. Now, the truck narrowly missed hitting U.S. Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was in a convertible participating in the parade. So that could be a reason the FBI said they were going to get involved. And then she made a statement about being deeply shaken and that a life was lost and others seriously injured. And tonight, Wilton Manor Stonewall Pride Parade, Wasserman Schultz said in a statement, "My staff and volunteers and I are thankfully safe. I want to thank our first responders to their heroic efforts, as both police and emergency personnel stepped into action quickly. We are praying for the victims and their loved ones as law enforcement investigates, and I'm providing them with whatever assistance I can. I'm so heartbroken what took place at celebration. May memory of the loss of life, may the memory of the life lost be a blessing. Okay, great. That's a fine statement with her. Nothing wrong with that statement in my mind. She didn't make any assumptions in her statement. She didn't make anything other than, whatever. Now, the mayor of Fort Lauderdale, however, made this statement. Fort Lauderdale Mayor Dean Trantalis, who was at the parade, said the truck missed Wasserman Schultz's car by inches before crashing through a gate and into a plant nursery. He said shortly after the crash that he believed it was a deliberate attempted attack of the Democratic Congresswoman. He, quote, "This is a terrorist attack on the LGBT community," Tantalis told Local 10 News. "This is exactly what it is. Hardly an accident. It was deliberate. It was premeditated, and it was targeted against a specific person. Luckily, they missed that person, but unfortunately, they hit 2 other people." So he thinks it was a terrorist attack against Wasserman Schultz. And let's see. Now, these are just some of the, these are just a couple of the news reporters that had tweets about it. Trantalis said a third person was injured and was stable in condition. Video obtained by Local 10 News shows a man being checked by Fort Lauderdale Fire and Rescue and telling people in the crowd that he was okay. He's appearing to be wearing a Fort Lauderdale Gay Men's Chorus shirt. And then, the place for the owner, with the garden place that we own, also made a statement. Now, before I even get into this, so let's go back to this hashtag of Death Santis and what some of the people were saying. Ron Death Santis killed countless Floridans during a pandemic, signed an anti-riot bill legalizing attacks against protesters, and signed into law a new Jim Crow voter suppression bill. He is the worst governor in the U.S. I'm old enough to remember when Death Santis signed a law saying running people over is A-OK.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
And so then here, 3 people ran over by a truck. Stonewall Pride Parade. As a result, 1 person is dead. FTL Mayor Trantalis, he says the truck was intentionally trying to harm people in the parade. And so this went on all over Twitter, okay? People just complaining about, blaming this on DeSantis for the, a hate crime is a federal law. DOJ does a step at ASAP if Florida is not held responsible for allowing deliberate murder. More crazies will take DeSantis' law as an excuse for killing people. State of Florida Governor DeSantis must be civilly sued by victims' families. Okay, so there's a little caveat here, though, that may change what happened, right? Let's take a look at the details that weren't available immediately, but within moments became available, because this article hasn't changed really since they did it. But remember, many news outlets began reporting on this using just those details that I gave you without anything else. And so everyone's on Twitter just blaming DeSantis. So problem is, police took the man who was driving the truck into custody. They were questioning him. He was wearing a Fort Lauderdale Gay Men's Chorus t-shirt. Our thoughts and prayers are with those affected by this tragic accident that occurred when the Stonewall Pride Parade was just getting started. Knight said in a statement, he's the director of the Gay Men's Chorus, our fellow chorus members were those injured, and the driver was also a part of the chorus family. To my knowledge, this was not an attack on the LGBTQ community. We anticipate more details to follow and ask for the community's love and support. So what happened is the driver said that he was in line because he was part of the parade. The truck was part of the parade. In fact, the truck had a gay pride flag on it. Or, the rainbow flag, right? I don't know why that is the gay pride flag, but it is. And he said that later reported said the driver somehow got his foot caught between the gas pedal and the brake, which happens. And fortunately, unfortunately, he ended up pushing the gas pedal and got stuck. Yes, MC, tragedy happens with elderly people. The driver was 77 years old. Okay. So, anyway, but no matter what, you get the people trying to blame this on DeSantis because the Rahm Emanuel rule never let a tragedy go to waste. This trended all day on yesterday, and what day was it? It was trending Saturday. It was trending yesterday, just for hours. Florida just gets worse and worse. Will DeSantis prosecute this assassin or hand him a key to the state? Yes. Mayor says Debbie Wasserman Schultz was the target of the Pride Parade terror attack. I truly think, what kind of deranged loser would push for and sign a law that allows people driving cars and trucks to run over others if they disagree with who they disagree with politically under the guise of they were blocking the road during a protest? One person's parade is another person's protest. Ron DeSantis knows that. First of all, the law that got signed into the bill that got signed into law by Ron DeSantis says nothing of a sort. It says people being attacked at a protest, if their vehicle is being attacked and they drive away and someone gets injured, that they would not be liable for those injuries if people are attacking them. It's a self-defense mechanism. Has nothing to do. He made it legal to run over people with your car in a protest. No. Now, the fact that Twitter allowed DeSantis to even trend, though, is another part of the part that makes you wonder. Isn't that, would you think that might incite violence by letting something trend that is provably false? In fact, it was almost immediately known as false because of the statements that came out almost immediately after it happened. That News 10 article came out, and people were trying to point this out to all these idiots with the DeSantis hashtag. Twitter trending DeSantis, even though it was a confirmed accident. The person who should be trending is Lori Lightfoot after a Puerto Rican couple was ambushed and murdered by a mob during the Puerto Rican Pride Parade. That happened in Chicago. This is why the idiots here have DeSantis trending. Being triple masked for too long cuts off the necessary oxygen to the brain. Yes, it does. So anyway, thank you, GunFox61, for being the first sponsor of the day, and also GunFox61.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Let's see. Gunfox with the $4.99 says, but all white men are racist, but Admiral pushing a racist book written by a racist guy in America is racist and needs to be yeeted is okay. Oh yeah, we're gonna. I think I have a story about that too. I think did I get that off the Discord? I can't remember where I got it. Anyway, thank you very much, GunFox61, for supporting the show. Greatly appreciate you. Yes, and so does the crowd. Good. So anyway, and so here's the article from an article from PJ Media, because about this allowing this to trend. First of all, so you got an entire mob, a Twitter mob, so to speak, calling this Death Santas. Do you think, again, I asked, it seems to me that you let that trend all day and people are blaming Death Santas, Ron DeSantis, for a person being murdered at a pride parade with a vehicle that the governor signed into law, which he didn't. Do you think that would raise people's ire towards that governor? Is that they like to say that words are violence. Well, it seems to me those words could easily incite violence against the governor. Don't you think? Is it just me? Or is it, now me personally, words are not violence. And if you're going to have an open internet and you're going to allow that stuff, you just allow everyone to do it. But no. There's no way that they're going to do that for this particular situation, because it's against a Republican. It's against a Republican. That's all they don't care, right? So anyway, Twitter allows harmful disinformation to trend following Pride Parade accident in Florida. During a Pride Parade near Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Saturday evening, a pickup truck plowed into a parade of participants, killing one and seriously injuring another. Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz was in a nearby car. In fact, it almost got hit. The mayor pounced. Oh, whoa! That's a different dynamic there when they say the mayor pounced. Usually it's Republicans who pounce. The mayor pounced and called it terrorism without having any facts. Quote again, this is a terrorist attack against the LGBTQ community. Fort Lauderdale Mayor Dean Trentalis told reporters this is exactly what it is. Hardly an accident. Left-wing tweeters quickly tied the incident to the law DeSantis side, which allows individuals endangered by riots that take over the public streets to drive on if they are endangered. This law is clearly intended to protect innocent people from violent Antifa rioters who have a habit of taking over streets illegally, surrounding drivers, bashing their cars, and in some cases assaulting or even shooting them. It has nothing to do with permitted parades such as the one that was taking place in Fort Lauderdale. Police asked for patience in Fort Lauderdale. That's about as easy as to find in our social media driven culture as unobotanium. So there's the police asking for patience. Mayor Trentalis' terrorism claim went straight to the media, though, who at least asked if he knew what he was talking about. So this report right here, the mayor outright called this a terrorist attack. You can't tell us one way or another whether this is an accurate characterization of what happened. Surely by now this has to be clear, because the police didn't call it a terrorist attack. The facts are emerging on the incident in Florida. It was apparently not an act of terrorism, as Mayor Trentalis irresponsibly declared. It was apparently an accident, and definitely had nothing at all to do with DeSantis. The law DeSantis side would not permit a wanted attack on a permitted event or demonstration. It protects innocent people from having their lives destroyed by left violent Antifa brown shirts. The driver of the truck was a parade participant. His foot apparently got stuck and he accidentally accelerated. Now, here we go. The driver and the victims were part of the Fort Lauderdale events. Of course, we already read this. Family, according to a statement made by news outlets from the group's president, Justin Knight. To my knowledge, it was an accident. This was not an attack on the LGBT community. Knight said in a statement, we anticipate more details to follow and ask for the community's love and support. Now, how irresponsible. Knight would make a better mayor than the opportunist Trentalis, who owes the country an apology. In Fort Lauderdale, his resignation. Agreed. DeSantis had nothing to do with this. Nevertheless, Twitter trended Death Santis all Saturday and Sunday. And then Twitter, and then also, you know how they like to label things as misinformation? Well, the accident into yet another point of division in the nation that may be helplessly divided. Twitter isn't labeling any of the dishonest tweets as disinformation. It's not doing anything at all, even to slow the spread of the viral lies, despite the fact everyone knows it could. Twitter doesn't care. Jack Dorsey's company is knowingly allowing thousands of tweets pushing disinformation about the accident. He doesn't care. Didn't care about the harm he is actively doing, going by his own disinformation and misinformation standards. Meanwhile, Dorsey's platform suspended Barstool Sports' Dave Portnoy for no reason, only dropping the suspension when the outcry against it grew loud enough. There was a reason for Portnoy's suspension. He's a popular conservative. That's it. So anyway, they updated. It was all part of the men's chorus. Big Tech has trained us to look at all things through the political lens. Tragic accident happens in Florida, and the reaction is to blame Governor Ron DeSantis. Can we stop this insanity? Jesus is king, not Trump, not Obama, not Biden, not your political ideology. This is from Denver. There's an update here just of what that law was designed to stop. But it happened in Colorado, where Antifa and its allies are more likely to have free reign. The streets of Denver saw violence Friday as Antifa and Denver communists attempted to shut down traffic and proceeded to assault individuals outside of the Western Conservative Conference. One woman was seen getting out of her car to confront Antifa, who threw projectiles at her vehicle and was subsequently threatened with mob-style beatdown if she proceeded. Another onlooker offered to help the one woman find the culprit who damaged her car, to which someone in the crowd yells, "If you touch one, you're going to get touched by every last one of those motherfuckers." The crowd implied that she was at risk for a brutal beatdown if she proceeded. So that's, in fact, even more so in Chicago. Now, I'm not going to show this video, but I will. Let's see. I think I can give you a link to it. Hang on a second here. I'll put a link to this. But in Chicago, I don't know if it was a Puerto Rican pride parade or what, but these two people are driving with they had a Puerto Rican flag in their vehicle. And for whatever reason, a bunch of people surrounded this car and started to attack them. And they eventually pulled them out of the car, and then both of them were shot in the middle of the street. Latino couple displaying a Puerto Rican flag on their car was pulled out of their car and shot, which is insanity. Now, what's weird is I didn't see anything about this on Twitter. Now, it may have been there, but it certainly didn't trend. Let's see if we can find this. So I'm going to do a search. Chicago, Puerto Rican, Chicago, Puerto Rican parade. Now, this did not trend. It's a murder in the middle of the street, people surrounding a car and shooting someone. A man was killed and a woman critically injured in a shooting after the Puerto Rican Day Parade in Chicago on Saturday. I'm not going to show the video. Let's do the Washington Examiner article here. Take a second. A man was killed and his wife critically injured after shooting broke out following the Puerto Rican Day Parade in Chicago. Police have confirmed. The couple was ambushed by 2 to 3 men. No, there was first of all, there were 8 people around the car. And when the shots rang out, everyone scrambled like rats. The couple was ambushed by 2 to 3 men who produced handguns and began shooting at the victims at the 3200 block of West Division Street at Humboldt Park, approximately 9:13 p.m. Saturday night, the Chicago Police Department said in an email to the Washington Examiner. The male victim sustained a gunshot wound to the head, causing authorities to rush him to St. Mary's Hospital, and the female victim was shot. Excuse me here. Let me get rid of this crap on my screen. Female victim was shot in the neck before being transported to Stroger Hospital. As that Okay, stop with the damn ads. Oh my God. I need to figure that out. She was taken to another hospital in Chicago. Where'd it go? There we go. And is in critical condition. The male victim was pronounced dead at the hospital, and the female victim's condition may change, police added. Noah is in custody in connection with this incident, and Area 4 detectives are investigating, the department said. Victims of the shooting, which occurred hours after the Puerto Rican Pride Parade ended, are identified as this person and this person. I'm not going to, they have GoFundMe accounts. It'll be in the article. I'll have this article in the link down below. So you can read it yourself. And then the video of the incident will also be in the description down below. But yeah, just awful. And this is the kind of thing that the bill DeSantis signed was designed to stop. In fact, I can show you before that happens. So now look how many. Oh shit! Oh well, I didn't mean to do that. But anyway, well, there's obviously that's the culprit. I didn't mean to show that. But there's several people around this car, and they're flying a Puerto Rican flag. Now, when I heard that what's possible is that they thought it was a Confederate flag. I don't believe that, because there's other Puerto Rican flags flying around here. Anyway, thank you, Chicago Mike, with the 556 with the bullet 556, who said that the Chicago's attack wasn't Mayor Lightfoot's fault. She just needs more office time. Yeah, I mean, and this is nasty. There's people right here too. Look at this guy right here. Now this guy is out here with his camera. This guy's out here with his camera. They know who did it. They got some good footage of who did it. By the way, Chicago Mike,
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
And thank you for sponsoring the show, sir. I greatly appreciate you. So yeah, this is Triologic posted this on Minds. When you cater to the black community for their votes, you are inviting this bullshit to come on our side. Stop it. Let these people stay with the Democrats. This happened at Humboldt Park in Chicago last night. A Latino couple displaying a Puerto Rican flag on their car was pulled out of their car and shot. And unfortunately, the man did not survive. So, man, just a tragic, tragic day. But it's funny. Did you hear about this? If you heard about this, in the chat, put a 1. And if you didn't hear about it, put a 2. If you heard about Fort Lauderdale, put a 3. And if you didn't hear about Fort Lauderdale, put a 4. Okay, so 1 for Chicago, yes. 2 for Chicago, no. 3 for Fort Lauderdale, yes. 4 for Fort Lauderdale, no. All right, let me get back into, what I haven't done yet. I haven't said good morning. There's a whole bunch of you here, and I'm just going to go through this as quick as I can and say good morning, everybody. First in the chat today was Mike Savage, Blarg, and the Bell. Thank you for being here, sir, for getting here bright and early. Also, good morning to Jonathan Peterson, Avocados Diabli, James Colley, Attack Alpaca, Renee Mayette, K. Shull, my favorite Canadian Jaeger pony, Horrible Gamers in the house, Paul Farrell's in the house, Lord Stanhope, Tyler F., Keeberdam, Jim Beam, Gunfox61, the administrator of our Discord server. That information will be in the chat if you're not already on there. Also, good morning. I said Keeberdam. Good morning, Chicago Mike. Good morning, Keenan. Good morning, MC.
Hammer time.
Also, let's see. I said horrible game. Got that. Fox P2's in the house. Also, good morning, T-Ball. Pincado, the driving gate man.
You are.
There, let's get the right one there. Good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Also, good morning, Mr. Yes. am I getting there? I'm getting close. W.R. Costa, nice to see you. Welcome back. Also, let's see. I'm good. The Hypnagogic Monks in the house. How you doing? And I think that's everybody. If I missed you, just throw something in the chat. Also, anyone who's out there working, lurking, driving, thriving, keep your eyes on the road. Keep your eyes on the machinery if you're handling heavy machinery. And thanks for being here. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, and you can throw a if you want to throw a couple bucks in the tip jar or sponsor the show, you can do that. That information is in the description down below. I appreciate you whether you do that or not, but every little penny helps. All right, let's keep going. So a couple people heard of, and not a whole lot of people heard of Chicago. Some people did not hear either. Got it. Yes, there. Okay, so it's about half and half. I gotta tell you, that Fort Lauderdale thing, I watched that trending in live, basically in real time. I happened to, check my phone just as that was happening. So I saw that, it happened not very long before I checked my phone. And as I'm watching people change their minds, or not even change their mind, they're already, I mean, the Death Santa's tweets were just off the chart. And then I found one tweet by the Foo, Polita Bunny, and showing the article, the report from News 10 in Fort Lauderdale, and it said right in the second paragraph that the Gay Men's Chorus director said that yes, there were people in our group, and the guy driving was in our group, and this is, it had to be an accident because this 77-year-old guy is part of our Gay Men's Chorus. And but still, it just grew this life of its own, and eventually I started seeing people posting on everyone who is saying this is Ron DeSantis' fault. No, this is not Ron DeSantis' fault. The guy from the gay chorus probably isn't running over people on purpose, and that's not what the law says anyway, you dipshits. So, anyway, does this hooker count as heavy machinery? Renee, I think Gun Fox gave you the correct answer. No, that is not not heavy machinery. So not only can you listen and pay attention to me, well, you can drink too, as just as Avocados Diaboli said. All right, let's get into some more of the show here. We've talked about that already. This is this same article. So let's and this is bribe. Oh, by the way, the mayor of Fort Lauderdale has sort of walked back his claim about the Pride Parade attack. Fort Lauderdale mayor walks back claim of terrorist attack at Pride Parade. Mayor Denton Trentalis of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, is walking back his claim Saturday that a fatal crash at the gay pride event was a terrorist attack after it transpired that both driver and victims were part of the Gay Men's Choir. As the Associated Press had reported, the driver of the pickup slammed into spectators Saturday evening at the start of the Pride Parade in South Florida, killing one man and seriously injuring another. Mayor Trentalis claimed immediately that the incident was deliberate, even declaring that it was a terrorist attack against the LGBT LGBTW community. I think he meant Q. I think he just, that's a typo. Q is right next to the W. Where's your editors, Breitbart? Anyway, however, as Breitbart News noted Saturday night, Justin Knight, the president of the Fort Lauderdale Gay Men's Chorus, said that both the driver and the victim of the tragic accident at a gay pride parade were part of his group. Miami and Fort Lauderdale area ABC affiliate Local 10 reported that Knight had said in a statement, "Our fellow chorus members were those injured, and the driver was also part of the chorus family. To my knowledge, this was not an attack on the LGBTQ community." On Sunday, Mayor Trentalis tried to walk back his claim of a terrorist attack, claiming in a Facebook post that he had been terrorized. My statement following yesterday's event in Wilton Manor is below. I want to thank our first responders for their efforts, yada, yada, yada. Last evening, at the start of what was to be the celebration of pride for the LGBT community and commemoration of our hard-won victories for equality, our community faced one of the worst of tragedies. The grief of our LGBT community, the greater Fort Lauderdale as a whole, is palpable. I was an eyewitness to the horrifying events. It terrorized me and all around me. Okay. I reported what I saw to law enforcement and had strong concerns about what had transpired, concerns for the safety of my community. I feared it could be intentional based on what I saw from mere feet away. Law enforcement took what appeared obvious to me and others nearby investigated further, as is their job. As the facts continue to be pieced together, a picture is emerging of an accident in which a truck careened out of control. As a result, one man died, 2 others were injured, and the lives of 2 members of Congress were at risk. My heart breaks for all impacted by this tragedy. Well, that's quite a different statement now, isn't it? Anyway, Trentalis did not apologize, which he should, because he made an implication. And, well, it doesn't matter. You don't have to apply to the people that you want the tragedy to be caused by, even though it wasn't. Nor did he explain why he felt the need to jump to conclusions about the motives for the crash. And yes, the police said the driver, a 77-year-old man, accelerated accidentally in a tragic accident. So that was that. And somebody beat you. I think it was Avocado Diablo who beat us to it on that. Okay, so good. All right, so now let's just get into the odds and ends from the weekend. I'm going to try to get through all of these today, and like I always do, I do leave all the links to all these articles and videos and whatever will be in the single link in the description down below. I'll put it in almost immediately after the show if you want to come back and reference these later. CNN is using Ashley Babbitt to paint Trump supporters as terrorists. This is a theme going on with our current government. It's kind of it's unnerving. I was talking about this on Friday too, how they're trying so hard to paint anyone who may have supported Trump or may be a dissident of Joe Biden as terrorists. And here's how they use this, because this is a tweet they put out on Friday. To some, CNN tweeted Friday, Ashley Babbitt, who was killed in the Capitol riot, was a terrorist. To others, she is a martyr and is seen as a recruiting tool. Now, just think about that sentence. Think about that sentence. To some, Ashley Babbitt, who was killed in the Capitol riot, was a terrorist. Really? Who are these some that thinks the unarmed woman coming into the Capitol unarmed in a group of goofballs that broke into the Capitol in the insurrection? Who thinks she was a terrorist? What terrorist comes into a building unarmed? Anybody? And to others, she's a martyr, seen as a recruiting tool. Recruiting tool for what? This is a CNN tweet, and they had an article. Now, let's see. Let's open this up because they had an actual article. Now I want to read. Let's go through their article because this article is bullshit. To some, she's a martyr. To others, a terrorist. Now, that's how a terrorist, really? Was she strapped? Was she wearing a bomb vest? I don't even know if I can say that. Did she look like the chick in Kill Bill with the two? What are those things? The samurai swords? Terrorist? How? How was she a terrorist? Or was just she one of the knuckleheads that got into the Capitol and were running around rampant? How was she a terrorist? Did she come in firing the AK, saying, "Say hello to my little friend"? Now let's read this article from This is CNN. And a recruiting tool? What are we recruiting for? Who's recruiting off of Ashley Babbitt? Here's Scott Glover wrote this. To some, she's a patriot. To others, a domestic terrorist. How is she a terrorist? how the memory of a woman killed in the Capitol riot got so politicized. On a sunny morning of February, as a bagpipe rendition of Amazing Grace filled the salt air, Ashley Babbitt's family and friends scattered her ashes into the Pacific Ocean off of San Diego. A ceremony aboard a chartered boat was supposed to be a final goodbye for the 35-year-old Air Force veteran and fervent Donald Trump supporter who was fatally shot in the U.S. Capitol. Babbitt was shot once in the shoulder by an unidentified Capitol Police lieutenant. Oh, well, now we know he's a lieutenant. How did we know he's a lieutenant? Did they see were his bars on his uniform? I don't know. I don't recall seeing that much. While attempting to crawl through a broken window leading to the Speaker's lobby outside the U.S. House of Representatives chamber. The shooting was captured on video and went viral for the world to see. The lieutenant has been cleared of criminal wrongdoing. But nearly 6 months after she was slain, Babbitt's memory not only lives on, it has become a polarizing and as politicized as the day itself. Well, shocker. To some Americans on the right, she's a patriot who died a martyr's death. Huh. By the way, I do have my cup of reparations right here. It's very tasty. A patriot who died a martyr's death. I don't know if I've seen that. Maybe there are probably some. I mean, some Americans. I don't see her as someone who died a martyr's death either. I just think she was shot by the cops. I'm flabbergasted by that. But then to others on the left, she's a domestic terrorist who got what she deserved. I've never heard of an unarmed terrorist. What was she? How? Terrorist how? Was she going to kill that officer with her bare hands once she got through the window? Did you ever hear of a rioter? Well, Antifa being called a terrorist? A sentiment conveyed with its own Twitter hashtag. She was a terrorist. An unarmed terrorist. That's a weird one. Anyway, she is the tragedy of the modern Republican voter personified, liberal political commentator Bill Maher proclaimed in January. She died for a second Trump term, even though that would have solved exactly none of her problems. How do you know? Do you think the Joe Biden presidency is solving anyone's problems right now? Seems like it's creating more problems than it's solving. Just a thought, as opposed to a thought. Her image adorns a black martyr flag with the Capitol in the black background that is being circulated on right-wing social media and appears in a painting reminiscent of the Revolutionary War era entitled Daughter of Liberty. Really? No link to that picture? I would like to see that. Here, let's look at that. Let's see. Ashley Babbitt flag. I've never seen it. Let's see here. Images. Is that supposed to be her? Oh, interesting. And whoever thought of that, I mean, I'm in the camp of whatever. I mean, I don't worship Ashley Babbitt either. I don't think she needed to be killed, though, by, unarmed, well, whatever. I've hated a martyr. Listen, I spend most of my time on right-wing media. Yeah, well, I consume a lot of media, but I spend a lot of time on right-wing media. I've never anyone heard of her called her a martyr. Hello, Tex AG. What's up? She is going to be used for many, many years, said Simon Perdue, a fellow at the UK-based Center for Analysis of the Radical Right. Well, thank God we got someone from the UK chiming in. They had to go all the way there to get a good quote. Who last month wrote an article of the significance of Babbitt's supposed martyrdom as a recruiting tool. The more they mention her, the more dangerous her story is going to be. Hey, Uncle Bad Touch is in the house.
Come on, man.
I know who you are. Keep that nose to yourself. In interviews with CNN, Babbitt's mother and brother, Michelle and Roger Whithote, spoke openly about her life before the shooting, their perspectives on what led her to the Capitol that day, and their contention that she did not deserve to be shot. Oh, so apparently this reporter thinks she did deserve to be shot. To her, I mean, come on. You know how what's the kid in Minnesota who ran away and got shot accidentally by the taser? Whatever his name is, Justin something. Yes, I know, and his parents came out and said that he didn't deserve to be shot, and I know that. Well, anyway, there's a long list of how good, how wonderful of a kid that was, and he was turning his life around, and he didn't deserve this. Well, I'm sure that her family believes that too, and they're probably right. Unarmed terrorist? Oh my God. Anyway, to her family, the life of Babbitt lived for 35 years was suddenly eclipsed by what they see as a distorted portrait that has emerged following her death, based in part by her own social media postings and video in which she rants about her conservative political views and support for Donald Trump. Rants or just speaks them? You know what I mean? Good Lord. Because of this and her high-profile role on January 6th, no, not her high-profile role. She got shot on January 6th, unarmed, by the way. I'm going to say that over and over. They say the death of an unarmed woman who spent more than a decade in service to her country and who had no previous criminal convictions has been met with a collective shrug by the government and the mainstream media. The kind of, yeah, pretty much. Politics aside, she was a person, her mother said, her voice crackling with emotion. As for the videos, Roger Whithote said, You're getting 2 minutes of 35 years. You don't know what she was like. So many people either love my sister or they hate her, she said. Most of them have never met her. Ashley Elizabeth Babbitt grew up as a tomboy in the suburb of San Diego. She kept pace with four brothers and their friends, riding bikes, jumping over ramps, skateboarding, and playing in the dirt. Whithoff recalled, she just did boy things, he said. Me and my sister were best friends. Babbitt excelled at water polo in high school. Despite her small stature, she was a hard-charging player, earning the nickname The Enforcer. She signed up for the Air Force at age 17. Her parents had to accompany her to the recruiting office to do so. This is just more of a little bit about her. But I'm fascinated by this framing of this. To some, Ashley Babbitt, who was killed at the Capitol riot, was a terrorist. How? How so? Were the people banging on the doors of the Supreme Court during the Kavanaugh hearings, trying to get in and all that? Were they terrorists? Were the people who occupied the Senate building terrorists? Were the people who occupied Nancy Pelosi's office, the eco warriors that were there, that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez came, or no, it was an immigration protest in Nancy Pelosi's office. Were they terrorists? They were uninvited. They were trespassing. And to others, she's a martyr, seen as a recruiting tool. Huh. Sounds like Osama bin Laden to me. Now, it's funny, this article, well, here, let's get back to the PJ Media. I might only get to 2 of these days. I'll just leave you a bunch of links if I don't get to my articles today. I'm going off on a couple rants here. So, Twitter's legion of blue checkmark leftist propagandists immediately protested that other, quote, terrorists, end quote, are seen as martyrs as well. Never Trump former Bush consultant Matthew Dowd likened Babbitt to Hitler, who was responsible for the murder of 12 million people in Europe. And actor Terry Kinney likened her to Muhammad Atta, who was partially responsible for the number of nearly 3,000 people on September 11th who died. In their indignation, however, they ignored the fact that CNN's language was clearly designed to lead their tiny remaining audience to take Trump supporters for terrorists. Oh, didn't notice. Ah. Of course, the comparisons Dowd and Kitty made were monstrous. How many people did Ashley Babbitt and the Capitol rioters kill on January 6, 2021? None. There isn't even any actual evidence that their entry into the Capitol building really constituted an insurrection. But CNN's tweet was a little better. It was framed in exactly the same way it would have been if CNN had actually been talking about a jihadi. To some, Osama bin Laden, who was killed in his compound in Pakistan, was a terrorist. To others, he's a martyr and seen as a recruiting tool. See what they did there? Recruiting for what? Those far-right terror groups that loom so large in the left's imagination but are so hard to find in reality? CNN's story that was linked from the tweet makes this explicit. She's going to be used for many, many years, said Simon Perdue, a fellow UK-based Center for Analysis of the Radical Right, who last month wrote an article on the significance of Babbitt's supposed martyrdom as a recruiting tool. The more they mention her, the more dangerous her story is going to be. Perdue drew parallels between the rhetoric surrounding Babbitt's death and that of Vicki Weaver. Weaver was the wife of white separatist Randy Weaver, who was fatally shot by an FBI sniper during a standoff with federal agents at Ruby Ridge, Idaho in 1992. The Weaver's teenage son was also killed a day earlier, as was a U.S. Marshal. Vicki Weaver's perceived status as an innocent white female victim, as a status as an innocent white female victim of state aggression, instantly placed her on a pedestal. Perdue wrote, her death in particular became a rallying cry and a recruiting tool on the far right, and helped to inspire Oklahoma City bombers Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols. Isn't this special? The Oklahoma City bombing was in 1995, but we're sure to hear a lot about it lately. That's how far the establishment media has to go in order to find any really significant white supremacist violence. And so it has to be pressed into service to shore up the left's narrative, which old Joe Biden's handlers put in his mouth on June 1st. Quote, terrorism from white supremacy is the most lethal threat to the homeland today. Thanks, Joe.
Come on, man.
In the absence of any significant number of white supremacists, the leftist elites are busy defaming anyone and everyone who dissents from their agenda. With that label, the plan here is quite clear. Robert Grenier, who served as CIA station chief for Pakistan and Afghanistan and later as director of the CIA Counter-Communications Center, declared in February, quote, even at the seeming height of the crisis immediately after 9/11, there really weren't that many members of al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. And the thrust of our campaign there was to hunt down al-Qaeda, but primarily remove the supportive environment which they were able to live and flourish. That, quote, supportive environment, end quote, is ordinary, unwoke Americans who don't want to be overwhelmed by an authoritarian socialist nanny state. When Biden refers to terrorism and white supremacy, what he really means are citizens who oppose the dominant political philosophy. Lies such as what he is spreading here are in the service of solidifying the hegemony of that philosophy by portraying Ashley Babbitt as if she has become a martyr of the insurrection. The insurrection. Let me try that again. By portraying Ashley Babbitt as if she became the martyr of the insurrection that never was, and a white supremacist movement that likewise is likely fictional, CNN is helping further the same narrative. Ding! Thank you again, Chicago Mike, with another bullet of the 556 variety. Says, so Rittenhouse, who defended himself, is charged with murder. However, the police lieutenant was not. Well, you are correct, sir. You are correct. The officer is not being charged with anything. So there you go. Go figure. But anyway, there's some more in that article. You can check that out yourself. And then the CNN article is right here. And I've also, or the tweet and the article will be in the tabs below. All right, let's keep going here. I'm going to try to get through the rest of this in 30 minutes. Report New York City drops most rioting, looting, and speaking of which, by the way, so they're still got all these people in jail in Washington, D.C. for basically the biggest trespassing and disorderly conduct charges, still waiting trial. It's almost, what is it, 6 months later, whatever it is. It's been a long time, right? Well, in New York City, they've dropped the charges on most of the rioting and looting and everything else, right? After New York City descended into widespread looting and vandalism in mid-2020, the Bronx District Attorney has dropped charges against a majority of the arrested rioters, NBC New York reported Friday. The outlet continued. NYPD, New York Police Department, data reviewed by NBC New York team shows 118 arrests were made in the Bronx during the worst of the looting in early June. Since then, the New York Police Department says the Bronx DA and the courts have dismissed most of those cases, 73 in all. 18 cases remain open, and there have been 19 convictions for mostly lesser counts like trespassing, counts which carry no jail time. In Manhattan, the NYPD data shows there were 485 arrests. Of those, 222 were later dropped, and 73 seeing convictions for lesser counts like trespassing, which carries no jail time. Another 40 cases involved juveniles and were sent to family court. 128 cases remain open. Former NYPD Chief of Patrol Wilbur Chapman shared his disagreement with the DA's dropping of the numerous looting and burglary cases. If they were so overworked that day they can't handle the mission that they're hired for, then maybe they should just find another line of work, he says, for the prosecutors. So anyway, well, fantastic. They're dropping charges in New York, very similar to what they're doing in Seattle. FTG. All right, moving on. And then back in Portland, everything is calm and cool since the anti-police riot team or whatever, the entire squad quit because one of their people got charged with I don't know, some police brutality, felony, some shit, and so the entire quick strike task force or whatever they call it in Portland resigned from that quick strike task force. They haven't quit as police officers necessarily, but anyway. Members of Antifa and the Proud Boys clashed in a riot outside of Portland on Friday. So it was a day ending in Y. The incident began with a flag wave event attended by local community members and individuals associated with the Proud Boys, according to KOIN News. After the arrival of Antifa, this flag wave quickly devolved into violence between the two groups. And of course, Andy knows, or somebody was there. A brawl has broken out between Antifa and right-wing protesters at a park near Portland, Oregon. On a day ending in Y, the Antifa called for comrades to go fight the flag-waving rally attendees. Why can't they mind their own flipping business? It's like they're not there to bother you. They're just waving some flags, and you all ass wipes have to come out and start some fights and shit. Anyway, attendees were gathering for the flag wave when confronted by left-wing protesters. After the two groups met, members of Antifa proceeded to burn an American flag. This flag burning propelled the Proud Boys and Antifa into violent conflict. Participants in the battle utilized pepper spray, batons, flagpoles, makeshift shields, and so on and so forth. And so these were the flag waving side, and the Antifa side came over there and started to fuck with people. And everyone's spraying bear spray and pepper spray and whatever. All right, moving on. Portland Mayor is scrambling now as the fallout from mass resignations of the Portland riot squad begins. The mass resignations of 50 police officers from the Portland Rapid Response Team following the indictment of one of its members on fourth-degree assault charges has shaken the city's public safety membership to its core. Well, wait a minute. Is that an oxymoron in Portland? Public safety? Mayor Ted Wheeler, who many RRT officers blame for not standing up and supporting the unit when they came under fire, is organizing, quote, mobile field forces. I'm sure there'll be social workers in those to deal with any crowd control issues. I have directed Portland Police Bureau to prepare mobile field forces to respond to any public safety needs, including potential violence related to mass gatherings, Wheeler said in a statement Thursday. Also, I've spoken to Governor Brown, and Oregon State Police is making members of its mobile response team available on standby. We are also coordinating with other regional law enforcement partners. The officers who resigned are still employed by the Portland Police Department and could still be assigned to crowd control. There's been no indication that any of those officers will refuse duty, but the specially trained RRT is, for all intents and purposes, disbanded. And, well, they go on. This is fine with the nitwits on the Portland City Council. Commissioner Joanne Hardesty, who has been agitating for the unit's elimination, complained that the resignations deprive the city councils of being able to humiliate the officers further. Quote, "We should formally disband the RRT, but through council action," Hardesty said in a statement Thursday. "The good old boy network is crumbling, and we can either be a part of the change or part of the status quo, but the arc of justice is bending quickly, and it is imperative that the Portland City Council lands on the right side of history." God, they're fucking stupid. Unbelievable. Anyway, some people were calling it a rogue paramilitary organization. Here are some of the things that the rogue paramilitary organization had to put up with last year. They were listed in a letter to Portland Police Chief Charles Lovell, and it was from the RRT commander Jacob Clark. Here it is. At the top of the list, Clark said nearly every team member has been injured during protests last year. The injuries received ranged from multiple members with broken bones, torn ligaments and cartilage, and traumatic brain injuries, hearing damage, damaged eyesight, lacerations, and burns. He said members felt the Bureau directives were being interpreted retroactively, leading to members being disciplined for policy changes that had not been in place when the officer acted during a protest. That's the guy who got charged. While not mentioned specifically, denying the unit the ability to use tear gas made the job impossible to do. The circumstances in which the team is asked to operate are extremely hazardous and present serious officer safety concerns. The removal of effective tools through mayoral order or judicial decree have increased the hazards to team faces and has greatly decreased their safety. The removal tools also force team members to utilize more physical force to accomplish the missions dictated to them by incident command. Team members expressed this concern to Bureau Command at the time and were told Bureau Command understood more physical force would be used. Additionally, reduced Bureau staffing budget and very little mutual aid support has forced the team to interact with dangerous crowds without proper staffing levels, which directly decreases their level of safety. So they were screwing them over anyway. Good that they quit the so-called squad. All right, let's keep going. Oh. Okay, Maxine Waters claimed that the Trump campaign helped organize the Capitol riot. Do we want to let's listen to Auntie Maxie? Who wants to listen to Auntie Maxie? Everyone loves Auntie Maxie. Oh my God. Oh, she's a
who defended the Capitol during the insurrection with congressional gold medals.
Wait, whoa. What did he say? What did he say?
Legislation that would honor the officers who defended the Capitol during the insurrection with congressional gold medals.
Listen to this.
You decided
now, interesting. So I'm not sure. So there were several Republicans. They were going to award some of the officers who protected the Capitol building with these congressional gold medals, right? And so there were several Republicans who voted against it, and I don't know why. Because it's all show. It's a big show that they're putting on and trying in order to make the insurrection seem just like it was a lot worse than it really was. And again, and I'll probably get accused of downplaying it, but never mind. Let's just listen to Auntie Maxie and I'm going to cut her off at one point, but there's something she says. Oh, wow. That pause game. That's what the hell. Ooh, good. Anyway.
You wanted to put them on the spot on that particular vote. Can you tell us about that? And what do you have to say about those 21 House Republicans who voted
So
against?
he's teeing it up. He's just, all he wants is, here, say something bad about these people. He's not asking her any real questions here. He's just opening up. This is what they do. Never a pointed question, Hey, Maxie Water, I've been meaning to ask you for a long time. When you were in that little crowd when you said that don't let the people go into the department stores, the gas stations, you should go out there and harass them and circle them and tell them they're not welcome. What did you mean by that? Were you asking for your own sort of insurrection against people in the Trump administration? No, damn well Jim McConnell's not going to ask that. Instead, he tees up this question. Here, say something. Here, what do you want to say bad about these 21 Republicans? I'm inviting you to say something bad about them.
Against that honor for the officers on January 6th.
I'm glad you asked.
Well, I'm so pleased that you brought that up, because those Republicans who voted against gold medals for those officers that put their lives on the line.
Lives on the line? Yeah, there are some flagpoles, but lives on the line? Okay. Okay.
It's just unthinkable.
Look, the Capitol Police did their job honorably, and they should not have been attacked. At all. That violence that happened there should not have happened. The idiots who were fighting with the police shouldn't have been fighting with them. Okay. Now, other Capitol Police let them in the building, but the ones that were fighting with them outside and whatnot, no, that's for the asswipes on the left to do, like they do every weekend, or when in Portland, or they've been doing the entire summer, right? That's not acceptable. But whatever. But still. No weapons. Ashley Babbitt, a terrorist with no weapons. Shot dead. Unarmed. An unarmed woman was murdered by police.
It's unconscionable that they would do that. The world watched as our police officers, the Capitol Police, were beaten. They watched the opposition and those domestic terrorists.
Domestic terrorist. Domestic terrorist. Ooh, she's got her language down. Woo!
Take the American flag and beat our police officers.
And that was wrong.
They climbed our walls. They broke in the glass of the Capitol, the windows of the Capitol. They invaded the offices of Nancy Pelosi and some others, and went on the Senate floor and on the House balcony. And for them not to understand that our democracy was absolutely invaded.
Our democracy. Oh, she don't give a fuck about democracy. Our constitutional republic. I mean, and gee, 2 hours later, what'd they do? What did Congress do 2 hours after the insurrection? They finished up their business, right? They finished up their business that night. Not even later. There was none of the halls of Congress were burned down. There was some garbage thrown around. But that evening they came back and finished what they were doing. Oh my gosh. Oh, but it was an insurrection.
That our democracy was undermined. And
it was undermined. Was it now? 2 hours later, did y'all vote on what you were supposed to be voting on, or whatever the hell you were doing? You had finished the official count or whatever? I just don't know. Miguel, what's up? And also Ethos, the EHOT is in the house. Nice to see you. And Jedi Ghost Bear, what up? Nice to see you. Welcome to the show. I'm sorry, but wait till she hear what she says here is what trips me out.
That cannot be tolerated by either side. And I want you to know, these are real domestic terriers. We're
Terrierists? What, are they going to the Westminster Kennel Club? Domestic terrierists? Are they showing some dogs running through little tubes and coming up over ladders and seesaws and shit? Domestic terrierists? Okay.
talking about the Proud Boys. We're talking about the Oath Keepers.
She's getting all names. Now notice who she puts with them next. Listen to this.
Talking about the KKK.
The KKK? That sounds like some, when you lock your, when I lock my keys in the truck, I lock them in the truck, and sometimes I call AAA, or sometimes I just call KKK because they're going to get my keys out of my truck. And that's only because I'm a domestic terrierist and I'm trying to get to the dog show. I think she fixed this one, though.
What do you say to some of these Republicans, Congress? Right.
But she got all about there. She got the Proud Boys, she got the Oath Keepers, she got the KKK and QAnon. Oh my God, QAnon is it does not exist. Hello, Helen. Thank you for the doggy things there. Oh, by the way, Chicago Mike, thank you, sir, for the another 5 spot through YouTube Super Chat. Says Jim Acosta and Maxine Waters. Marty, are you trying to make me throw my tablet? No, don't throw your tablet, because I still want you to hear what she says here. What she says here, there's one line that you gotta hear. KKK pie. Oh, is that like super key lime pie? I don't know. Okay.
Some of these congressmen on the Republican side, as you know, Congresswoman Waters, are saying it was the FBI. Now they're saying it's the FBI.
Oh, could it be? I don't know. The FBI's never infiltrated any groups, kind of like the people who are going to assassinate, what's-her-face, at Whitler in Michigan. And then when 2/3 of the people involved were FBI informants and agents. I can't imagine the FBI having infiltrated any groups. Oh, what's the leader of the Proud Boys? Wasn't he a former government informant? But no, there could no way be anyone associated with anyone that might have infiltrated these groups. Of course, then the left-wing dude who was telling them to burn shit down and stuff, but thankfully they didn't listen to his sorry ass. Anyway, let's listen though, but there's one line you gotta hear. She hasn't said it yet.
They can say whatever they want to say. One of the things we know is we need a commission. And they're opposing a commission to find out who all was involved.
Okay.
Where did the money come from?
Where did the money come from for what?
Send busloads of people in.
Do you think they had money to send busloads of people, or these people get there on their own dime? Did they get there on their... I'm assuming these people got there on their own dime. Just saying. Oh, now listen, but the line's coming.
Who supported them in all of this? Where was the organizing taking place? I'm told there was organizing taking place right in the Trump campaign.
Wait, what? Wait, what? I'm told
there was organizing taking place right in the Trump campaign.
What?
Was involved. Where did the money come from to send busloads of people in? Who supported them in all of this? Where was the organizing taking place? I'm told there was organizing taking place right in the Trump campaign.
No, really? Really? I'm curious. Who would have told Maxine Waters that? She made that shit up, or somebody made that shit up. I can't listen to her anymore. Sorry, we're moving on. Hello, Hypnagogic Monk. Hello, Asian Research Directorate, and Howard Welsh. What's happening? All right, I gotta get through a whole lot in a very short amount of time. Okay, so apparently in 2017, let's get on a little bit about the COOF, a little COOF news here. Wuhan lab found all genes to recreate epidemic strain of coronavirus in 2017. Oh, perfect. The Wuhan Institute of Virology, increasingly believed to be the source of the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus, obtained all the genes to make a SARS coronavirus similar to the epidemic strain, according to a 2017 report by Science News. Zach Osborne, how you doing? The article, Bats in China Carry All Ingredients to Make a New SARS Virus, documents how a Wuhan Institute of Virology research team led by the Fauci-funded bat lady Shi Zhengli sampled wild bats. Also cross-posted to the Wuhan Lab's website, the November 30th, 2017 report reveals how data collected by Xi's team enabled the lab to make a SARS coronavirus similar to the epidemic strain. Quote, after 5 years of surveying bats in a cave in southern China's Yunnan province, Zhengli and Xi and colleagues have discovered 11 new strains of SARS-related viruses in horseshoe bats, especially in Rhinophilus sinicus. Within the strains, the researchers found all the genes to make a SARS coronavirus similar to the epidemic strain, says Xi, a virologist at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, Chinese Academy of Sciences. These new strains are more similar to the human version of SARS than were previously identified bat viruses, says Matthew Freeman, a virologist at the University of Maryland at Baltimore. Well, isn't that fucking fantastic? The article was recently wiped from the Wuhan Institute of Virology's website. Also notes that she and her colleagues found that several of the strains could grow in human cells. Yay! Oh, it gets thicker and thicker. Read the rest of that on your own. Thank you, Gunfox61, for another almost 5, aka 489, who says, get your Maxine pads, because Jim is all up in her taint. He is all up in there, just rubbing his face in it. CNN Communist News Network. Also, BLM and Antifa were funded by George Soros, and BLM is funding the DNC. I really didn't need to hear about Maxine Jim all up in Maxine's taint, because the thought of that is just nasty. God. I was going to say thank you, Gunfox61, but I need eye bleach already just thinking about that, and I haven't even seen it. Jimmy from Philly's in the house. Good morning, with the 5 spot on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you, sir. Good morning, listening on a riding mower, LOL. Well, watch where you're going, because sometimes I say shit that's funny and you might run into a tree. Thank you, Jimmy from Philly, for sponsoring the show. Also, Gunfox61. We appreciate all of you who are sponsoring the show today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, good Lord. Oh, Gunfox. Come on, man. Oh, wait.
Come on, man.
Yeah, come on, man. Ugh.
Your life makes me sad.
All right, let's keep going here. God. Oh, by the way, so this is an article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but why was the news of India's success with ivermectin suppressed? Remember how India was having this crazy wave of COVID-19, and we were hearing about how it was just overtaking the country, and everyone's, just people everywhere. Well, so in April, and I talked about this, I made this point, I don't know if it made in a tweet or what, but anyway, in April, the April COVID surge in India is an interesting microcosm of what went wrong in this pandemic and what went right. As cases and deaths began to mount exponentially, a new wave of terrifying headlines and images also began to ripple across the West, accompanied by footage reminiscent of those first videos out of Wuhan and Iran in the early days of the pandemic. The BBC report from outside a hospital in Delhi was nothing short of gut-wrenching. Sick people on stretchers outside of the hospital, drawing their last labored breaths before a doctor or nurse could even see them, frantic and traumatized family members begging for someone to come see their mother. and their father, their sister, their brother, no one was coming. The people outside on stretchers slipped quietly away into eternity. That's how it was with this virus. In most cases, it's like a head cold or a bad case of the flu. But in some cases, if not properly treated, what seems like a banal infection rapidly spirals into a nightmare. Given the infectivity of the virus, it can spread faster than we can respond to it. And for India, this became the case at national level. For much of the pandemic, COVID was so mild there relative to other countries that scientists were trying to figure out why they were doing so well. Then came the April elections, which in India are carried out in phases rather than in one go. There were huge rallies with politicians where hundreds of thousands of people gathered near a near perfect storm for the highly infectious Delta variant. India soon became a new global hotspot for COVID. The media maelstrom fed fears that this new wave would soon arrive in the West. But seemingly overnight, the stories about India's COVID surge disappeared from Western media. Why? I think it's because India was too good of a case study of how the virus can be defeated without experimental gene therapy stabs. All it takes is a cheap, safe, widely used drug called ivermectin. So anyway, you got to read this. So in India, they went from just a huge surge of COVID cases. They started using this ivermectin, and let's see. I'm going to skip way down here to the bottom because where is it? Anyway, they talk about how they found this particular drug. It was originally used to stop it was originally used for animals. A top-selling veterinary drug in 1987, it was approved for human usage to treat devastating tropical disease psoriasis or something like that, river blindness, a disease caused by worms and transmitted by flies, which results in blindness if left untreated. Since then, more than 3.7 billion doses have been distributed globally, thanks in no small part to the tireless work of former President Jimmy Carter. Now, as far as its treatment of COVID in India, it basically knocked out about 99% of the cases. And so, but here's the punchline, so to speak. Why would this information be suppressed by our media outlets? Well, under the FDA rules, an emergency use authorization, kind of like the ones for the current stabs, the 3 versions of the stab, the emergency use authorization, that they're on these unapproved stabs. An emergency use authorization, like the ones given for the 3 main experimental gene therapy stabs, can only remain in force as long as there is not a superior alternative therapy available. When you consider the absolute risk reduction from taking ivermectin as a COVID prophylaxis is far superior of the products from Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson, the justification for administering these experimental treatments disappears. Billions of dollars are at stake, not just for mRNA injections or stabs, but for efforts to develop new antiviral drugs, one that can be patented and sold at a significant markup. Who would want to risk a heart attack when you can take a safe and effective pill once a week? Follow the money. So yeah, it's a good article, but basically, ivermectin is extremely cheap because it's a generic drug. It's super cheap, and they've had in India. Notice that the big surge of COVID cases that it was supposed to take India down. Well, where is I wish I could find the exact line. It's in here somewhere, but it knocked it out by 99% and everywhere they're using it. And so they've been using it completely. Thank you, GunFox61, for another almost 5. And GunFox61,
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
who says New Hampshire becomes the 9th and last necessary state to ratify the Constitution of the United States. Oh, is this the day in history? Yes. Thereby making the document the law of the land in 1786. Dr. Duckbag has been funding virus mutations since the 90s. I think you meant Dr. Dickbag, a.k.a. Dr. Fauci. Anyway, hashtag resist Faucism. Thank you, GunFox61, for continued sponsorship of the show, and everyone else who's doing that too. I'm out of time, and I've got a whole bunch of articles to go. All right, let's just give you this gist of the rest of it. New York Post article. An Israeli vendor was booted from a Philadelphia food truck event because, well, inclusion. Israeli vendor was yanked from a Philadelphia food truck event, prompting claims that organizers bowed to anti-Semitism and leading to a decision to scrap the event on Sunday. Food truck Moshava said its invitation to the Taste of Home event scheduled for Father's Day was pulled because organizers feared protest over their Israeli ties. So, anti-Semitism rears its ugly head. On legal insurrection, a man has been arrested and charged with assault after an incident with California Governor Gavin Newsom. He threw a water bottle at Gavin Newsom, which I personally think, hey, let's not just clap for that. Congratulations, dude. Okay, moving on. Michigan governor has pulled the Chinese Communist Party virus restrictions, but I guess it's too late. Apparently, she was going to wait. She threatened to wait till after July 6th. Michigan's founding governor, Gretchen Whitler, has decided to open up the home state June 22nd, just over a week earlier than scheduled, ending almost all of her draconian Wuhan virus restrictions. It's about time. So she's still a crazy person. You can read that one too. Also in legal insurrection. Michael Avenatti. Did you hear about Michael Avenatti? I think the prosecutors are not being very lenient with him. Prosecutors have urged a judge to hand a very substantial prison term to Michael Avenatti. Oops, what did I do there? The disgraced lawyer who tried to extort millions of dollars out of sportswear giant Nike. So here's one of these videos in here where they
Stormy Daniels' lawyer Michael Avenatti
remember
is
this guy?
laying down the law.
Oh, that's really loud, isn't it?
Really
Holy
thinking
shit.
about running for president?
Joining me now live, the man himself, Michael Avenatti.
Let's talk to somebody who understands the system very well. Michael Avenatti.
He's Donald Trump's worst nightmare. Michael,
thanks so much for being here. Did you talk to Stormy Daniels last night? What was her reaction?
Did the president just get a new challenger for 2020?
Oh, did he
Stormy
now?
Daniels' lawyer, Michael Avenatti, may have just tossed his hat into the ring.
Looking ahead to 2020, one reason why I'm taking you seriously as a contender is because of your presence on cable news.
First, let me take a moment to brag on my former student. This dude right here, I think of him as in a Justice League with Robert Mueller to save our democracy.
Oh,
a 9-year-old boy has been reunited with his mother in Guatemala. And the person who helped make this happen, Stormy Daniels' lawyer and potential presidential candidate, Michael Avenatti.
What do you say to critics who say this is a publicity stunt?
Doing good work, having kids reunited with their parents. I mean, my record speaks for itself.
Yes,
probably one of the biggest stars we have at this dinner tonight. Of course, this is Michael Avenatti.
I'm the only person right here.
That was the White House Correspondents' Dinner. They said Michael Avenatti was one of the biggest stars. Oh, scary. Scary.
Donald Trump fears more than Robert Mueller. Mueller. Please welcome Michael Avenatti. Yeah, I do think that that Trump is afraid of you.
Lawyers don't normally do talk shows.
Oh.
I'm not your normal lawyer.
No.
Yes, you are something of a folk hero now. Let's be honest, the whole reason that we're in love with you and Stormy is because we think you guys are the tip of the spear that's going to take down Donald Trump.
Well, that's all it takes, right? That's all it takes. Okay, well, fuck him and hopefully goes to jail for a long time. You can watch that one later. You know what? Tell you what. There's, House Republicans grow midterm casting advantage over Democrats. Okay, good, I guess. I hope, whatever. 56 Republicans have demanded that Joe Biden replace Kamala Harris for failing to secure the southern border. She still hasn't been there, so why not? They might as well replace her. She ain't doing shit anyway. You can read that one on your own. Also, Media Matters director admits running scams and wants to kill all men. Audrey Bowler, a social media manager at left-wing outlet Media Matters has shared a litany of anti-male tweets, including declarations of her love for scamming men and when men die in movies, along with designing state seal with "kill all men" as the motto. Oh, yes, Media Matters. Let's see, what else we got? This was the... I got several articles on CRT in here, critical race theory, just different, but that's for a project that I'm working on. But I'll leave them in the tabs today. Several links there. Don Lemon talking about Don and Chris dumbass Fredo talking about how parents upset at critical race theory. Parents upset about critical race theory. That's the whole thing about what privilege is. It's that the people don't like to have their pleasure interrupted, their peace interrupted. Stop making it about you. Don, you're married to a white guy. Fuck off. Is he a racist? Do you guys have like racist role play? Like, never mind. I'm not. I don't want to even think about it. I don't even want that in my head. Good God. Also, let's see. I think. McCloskey. So the McCloskeys pled guilty to a misdemeanor charge, a lesser charge than what they were being charged with, and just decided to say, "Fuck it, we'll take that." And so they were ordered to give up their guns. Oh, wait, no. They were ordered to give up the guns that they used in that particular incident. So they ordered to give just those two guns. They have other guns. And in fact, there's a whole, they were in a store showing off their new ARs they just bought because they had to give up the old ones. So I guess it's okay. Also, thank you, Brian, who says, I'm Brian Stelter, and I like taking hot because I like being on my knees all the time and licking. I think that means licking Maxine's taint. Oh, so she comes to my show and when I need the ratings. I read it in the wrong voice, but I'm not going to read that again because I'm going to throw up. Thank you, Brian. Let's see. This, okay. I'm going to finish with this story. The other ones on here are more critical race theory stuff. Yeah, I'm researching something for an upcoming video. Plus, Sesame Street has a gay couple on it now. A gay family. And there's this PJ Media slave story history forgot there were black people who owned slaves too. Not a significant amount. A lot of times, blacks who owned slaves, they bought other people out of freedom. But there were a significant number of black slave owners in the United States during slave times. Sesame Street, yeah, they added a gay couple to Sesame Street. Yay. And then let's see, this one is what is this one? Macy Gray, the singer, she was talking about how the United States should change their flag. And so this is Governor Kristi Noem, I'm not going to describe her because I might get in trouble. She's just, let's say she's a fine individual. Yes, she's a fine individual, Kristi Noem, and she blasts the singer for the flag. All right, the only one I really want to finish though here is this one, and even though it's going to make me late, I want to do this story today. Wait a minute, Brian Stelter, you might be an alternative person in here because I noticed that our superstar donor of the day's total went up.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Thank you, Brian Stelter. Anyway, all right. I'm going to finish with this one. So in this New Jersey town, this story is developing because in this New Jersey town, in Randolph, New Jersey, they removed Columbus Day from their school's calendar and replaced it with Indigenous Peoples Day. Now, you got to remember, in the East Coast, especially the upper northeast coast, there's a lot of Italian folks there, right? And so let's just say that the Italian Americans and the members of the Knights of Columbus, they weren't happy about this because, Columbus is, Italian. For lack of a better thing to say about Christopher Columbus. So they came and protested at the Board of Education meeting in Randolph, New Jersey. And so one of the guys is there. He said, you can read this rant, but it's been 529 years since Columbus found the New World, which, to the Europeans, it was a new world. Even people get caught up in that word discovered, because there was already people there, the natives, but whatever. Those people didn't know those people were there, so they did discover it, even though it was already there and there were people there. So it's just a semantic thing, right? So this guy goes into this long, long rant about Columbus and why he's important to the history of the United States, which he is, and, the whole Western Hemisphere he's important to as far as, the Europeans go. And so replacing Columbus to celebrate Indigenous might be seen as akin to being preferred to the almost black skin of Mediterranean peoples like Spanish and Italian. My many Italian friends have told me it insults all of them. They feel Columbus and his explorations exemplify their rich history as St. Patrick does for the Irish. Lowering the Italians will not raise the Indigenous. An Italian declared crossing the Rubicon important. The Randolph Board of Education should consider whether removing Columbus reflects scholarship, a lessening of knowledge, or a politically correct bashing of America and its idols out of fear, which it's more likely that. I do hope you reverse your decision. Thank you. So here's the part of the story that I'm kind of cracking up about. Immediately after the last speaker sat down, the Board of Education considered what they had heard from the community. They thought the feedback valuable. It then voted to remove all mention of any holiday, replacing all with, quote, day off, end quote. Christmas, Martin Luther King, Memorial Day, all will be known as on the school calendar, quote, day off, end quote. The members of the audience were stunned. The audio of the meeting has members shouting, "What is happening? What did you just do?" News of this decision exploded locally and nationally, and reaching even England and India. A special meeting of the Randolph, New Jersey Board of Education has been called. It is anticipated that even more of the community will attend. They are seeing how much elections matter, perhaps even especially to local boards of education, as our children are our future. So I would love to see live video of that next school board meeting after that stupid decision. And on that note, I have to make a decision myself. That means leaving this lovely abode down here with my flags and my phone and all this shit. Anyway, thank you everybody for being here. Before you do anything, before you click any buttons, before you do a damn thing, make sure you click the like button before you go. 33 people and 29 likes. I know there have been more than 33 people here in and out. Please hit the button. Please share the stream. Please, if you want to be a sponsor of the show, all that information is in the description down below. If you're new, hit the subscribe button, click the bell. And if you're watching on replay, or even if you're watching now, come back and put a comment in the comment section when you come back and look for the link for all the stories that I have in the one tab link in the description down below. BG and Infamous One, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you caught the end of the show. That's all, people. Time for me to go. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thanks for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.